Hi there, guys. Welcome back to another Good Place podcast episode. Officially, this time not on a Good Place bench, but on a public bench, on how we started this series talking to citizens about life, about why they live where they live, and about anything else that keeps them either awake at night or alive during the day. Um, Next to me, I have Tina. Welcome to the show. Please, maybe, where are we? Where did you bring us today?
Thanks, Robin. So we are in the Westduin Park in The Hague, which is actually one of my favorite places. I would definitely call them a good place or even a great place.
Nice.
And
Beautiful weather today.
Yesterday we had this downpour and I was a bit worried, but today, we have the sunshine and the birds are in the sky, so it's beautiful indeed. And that's probably also the reason why I love this place. It's just beautiful nature, and I come here regularly. And I figured it looks different every time I'm here. So, I just love immersing myself in nature, really.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to that also later. I think that's also one of the links from I think previous interview I've done during Outdoor Office Day, right? Which was about nature and the role in nature. And I think that's how we got connected in some ways. But this bench is I'm leaning backwards a bit, so sometimes I feel like more like relaxed when I try to sit upright. I'm also doing bench testing, as you know. But you're originally not from The Hague. Where are you from, and what brought you to the city?
True. I live here now for 15 years. Time flies. God, 15 years. But I'm German, originally from the western part of Germany, close to Dortmund. That's typically what most people know. But I've lived in the north, I've lived in the south of Germany, and before we came as a family to the Netherlands, to The Hague, I lived in Berlin, which is also a really nice city. Yeah, quite vibrant and also huge. And I had to adjust in terms of scale when we moved to the Netherlands to that, because everything just felt like it was around the corner. So walking distance for most of the part, or by bike, which isn't the case in Berlin, of course.
Yeah. But what was the main reason for you to move to specifically The Hague 15 years ago? From a beautiful city such as Berlin?
Exactly. Well, it was in a way a family reunion, because my husband and we had a split family situation. So he had to move for his job to the southern part of Germany, and we only saw each other during the weekend, which is hard for a couple, but then even harder, I think, for a young family. So we had our daughter. And the first 2.5 years, it felt like I brought her up by myself, and my husband was just absent a lot of the times. And that was really a struggle for us. And we thought, okay, what do we do? Moving within Germany, we looked into a couple of options, but then ultimately the best option for us was to move as a family to the Netherlands, where I could also find a job.
Right.
That was the main reason. And The Hague, to be honest, because we didn't know much about the Netherlands, The Hague was just the place where the German International School was and still is. So that was the main reason for us to choose The Hague, not really knowing what we got ourselves into. But 15 years later, we are still here and we love it.
Yeah. You didn't have a reason to move away or to return to Germany.
No, not at all. Quite the opposite. We have a lot of friends that come and visit us, and they equally love The Hague and spend time with us on the beach or in nature. And it's interesting, when you live abroad, you start to look at things in a different perspective. And we also looked at Germany, which used to be our home, of course, in a different way. And you start to compare, and then, bottom line, it's just really a good life that we are living here. So we have no reason whatsoever. And we're reasonably close to relatives. And the friends come to visit us because it's the nice place. So
They prefer coming here more than you visit them.
definitely. And we keep telling people that we live where others are spending their holidays. So it's a good choice.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. And I think, I mean, of course, the semantics, like, a school, a job, and so on. But then throughout time, you also start to appreciate other factors as well, right? Which are less the functional factors, let's say.
Yeah, absolutely. First, I have to admit I was very ignorant. I thought, okay, this is the Netherlands. It's relatively small compared to Germany, and I thought it's just the Netherlands as one unity, which isn't the case at all. So we started to realize there are these different provinces, people with different attitudes, ways of looking at life. Even in The Hague, we now live op Scheveningen. And it's definitely a different breed. So just getting into the culture much more, and starting to indeed to value and to cherish what we have here. I think one element that struck us most was how laid back and relaxed the Dutch are compared to the Germans.
Okay.
They're much more forgiving. Where Germans tend to stick to the rules, and I see it in traffic, and sometimes I have to admit it still bothers me a bit when I see them just ignoring a red traffic light, for example. But
Okay.
it's so common.
Okay. It's so common to
And
skip the red light.
yeah, and sometimes I feel I'm a bit of a traffic risk there because I stick to the red light and then I stop, but no one expects me to stop. So I sometimes create confusion on the streets here. But yeah, all in all, I think this a bit more relaxed way of being, of existing, of accepting is certainly something that we learn to enjoy. Yeah.
As a Dutchie grown up in Germany, so the other way around, I'm also interested, like, how do you see, have you seen the whole making friends around here in the Netherlands versus in Germany?
That's an interesting point. I think we are still struggling with that, to be honest. So my daughter started in the German school, German international school, and of course then you end up in a bit of a bubble of internationals, mainly Germans, but also other mixed couples, internationals. And those used to be then our first friends, of course. So we made friendships there. But then we thought, well, we are living in the Netherlands, so let's make an effort and really get to know people and try to make friends there as well. And we were, I think, reasonably successful with our neighbors, left and right. So that's easy because you meet each other on the street, and they have this really nice habit of organizing straatfeestjes, street parties, where anyways you get to know each other and you talk and you have a drink and the kids play around. So that's super social, I think. And then we went a step further. We moved our daughter and then also our son, who's born here, out of the German system into the Dutch school system, thinking, wow, now this is the step further with our integration and trying to make friends. But we realized that's a bit harder. And I don't know why that is. And people are super friendly. But I came to realize when you're not in the same sports club or, maybe from the same family, or you have spent time on the same school, it's just harder. They are quite close-knit group of people, and to get into that is more difficult. So now our friends, I think, are all very, very international, with a couple of super nice neighbors, which still hang out with us.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard, you're not the first saying that it's more challenging to connect with the Dutchies or make friendships with Dutchies. Yeah. This is something, that invisible thing of being from abroad, or or maybe it's a language thing. I don't know. You only need a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few Dutchies in the mix is okay. What's also interesting is that when we talk about friendships and also connection, there's also this connection that you've had probably from your previous life and work to today, and then talking about nature. Can you bring us or tell us a bit more about that journey you've gone through?
It was a journey. It was definitely a journey.
Still is.
Still is. It's somehow it feels the journey has started again.
Okay, good.
So yeah, my background is, and it feels I'm getting back to my roots. So I'm biologist. I'm trained as a biologist. I used to spend time in the lab doing experiments. So I guess I am just a very curious person, and I love to discover things and to figure it out to the detail. But then somehow I thought, okay, now I have to get serious because it's all very playful in the lab. It's just really, really nice and creative there. But then I thought, okay, getting serious, starting with a proper business and earning some money. I got into the corporate world, working for a pharmaceutical company, and pharmaceutical companies tend to take it a bit more seriously. So this whole playful lightness was gone a bit. When we moved to the Netherlands, I changed jobs and started to work for a huge multinational in the fast-moving consumer goods. Slightly less serious business, luckily.
Okay.
It was all about shampoos and soap bars, but still corporate. And the corporate world is very very specific. You have to adapt. You have to know your way around. You have to play by the rules, which I did quite successfully for quite some time. But then at some point, I think it happens to most of us, right? That we start to ask ourselves, "Oh, that's it? Am I going to continue like that forever now?" And that started to set something free in me, allowing myself to think of alternatives and what else is out there. And I think what I always enjoyed most in my work, and in the end it was quite technical work again, but then what I enjoyed most always was working with people and for people, and supporting their development and seeing them thrive and grow and enjoy and being authentic. So all these aspects I enjoyed most, and then I thought, okay, why not make this my core, the core of my work? So I took this leap of faith and started my own business, working with people now and nature. You spoke about nature. I think this is the second aspect of what I'm doing now, which was a bit of an abrupt wake-up call, probably a couple of years back when Europe was on fire with the climate crisis, a hot summer, sweltering summer.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I just need to do something and get involved, and can no longer ignore it and pretend that everything is okay. So I think
Roll
those
up your sleeves and do something about it.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, and speaking up about it and getting active and involved and engaged in my way. Now I'm trying to bring those two elements, people, nature, the world, together in my work.
And of course, you need to explain what that exactly is, or that, and like an example. But so it's also you're on a mission to help people actually be more conscious about these matters in the world, or are you here to convert people to mobilize your army of fighting the climate, or what's that purpose behind it, maybe?
That's a good question. I think that was part of my journey as well, to figure that out, because I started with this urge, I need to do something. But then what exactly that is, it took me some time to figure that out. And I would say now it's probably two things, or two pillars of my work. First is working with normal people like you and I, and helping them finding their connection or rediscovering their connection with nature, because it's such a good place to be, such a great place to be in nature. It helps with your wellness, with your well-being, with your mental state, with your emotional state. It has so many balancing effects as well. So just being out there in nature is such a good idea, and I help people getting out into nature. I'm a nature coach now, and I also take them on guided walks. And of course, I would love to talk about those walks more.
Yeah.
And the second part is working with professionals who are already quite engaged in their work when it comes to climate or sustainability. But they are running a risk of burning out because they just give everything. They're so passionate about saving the world and doing the right thing that there is a risk of forgetting that they also need to invest in themselves, so that they can keep going and doing the right thing. So I try to be the one who helps them with that and supporting them and preventing burnout or mission fatigue. And of course also calling in the help of nature with that as well.
How does a podcast recording in nature qualify?
I think it is, for myself, a very relaxing experience, because I told you I'm camera shy. But being surrounded by nature, I feel I'm so grounded.
That's why I hid it in the bushes.
I can't even see. Is there a camera? I don't know.
Was there a camera?
No, I hear the birds sing. I see the green leaves of the trees. I see the blue sky. So no, it is definitely helping.
Maybe you should just take 5 seconds to listen, huh? Yes? You see? I hope even the listeners here just got a bit more aware. They closed their eyes and connected. Yeah. I think that's also my problem is that, to connect and to really take that moment of silence and take it all in, no? So how does that walk through nature really work? Beyond seeing and listening.
Beyond seeing and listening, it is a head, heart, body experience. So this walk, which is called Deep Time Walk, is a walk that I take here through the dunes of exactly 4.6 kilometers.
Okay.
And then people go, why 4.6 kilometers? Why not 5?
Hard stop.
Exactly. Why are you so difficult about walking in nature? But what is behind these 4.6 kilometers is that these 4.6 represent also the age of the Earth. It is 4.6 billion years. So by walking those 4.6 kilometers, we are walking the 4.6 billion years of Earth history. And while we are walking, I'm also explaining about certain key events that have shaped the Earth, our planet, that have shaped life on Earth. And it's certainly not a scientific lecture or something. I don't want to be boring. Quite the opposite. I want to entertain. I want to wow people. I want to bring back this awe and this wonder about the planet and life on Earth and how precious that is. It is scientifically backed, but that's not really the point. It's more about looking at nature and the Earth and even the moon, who is out there, in a different way. And this bench that we are sitting on, I've chosen that bench not only because it's a not so comfortable but still wonderful benches. At this spot, I would talk about ocean Earth and water on our planet, and also how the surface of the Earth started to solidify like 4 billion years ago. So we are jumping on Earth, on the planet, and feel the solidity and how it is carrying us, and how we can trust it, and how we can rely on it, and that we can ground ourselves. So those are things that we are exploring during those different stations.
And how many stations do you have alongside the walk?
It is in total 17. And the last
4.6
on 4.6
kilometers.
It's 17 stations, 17 stops. And at the beginning, of course, there are larger distances between the stations because not so much is happening. At least a biologist wouldn't get excited because there isn't much life to be observed yet. But then later, and that's also, I guess, the interesting thing, or why a walk is a very particular way of experiencing deep time, is because you literally walk and you get a feel for the distance and for the time. Whereas in the first half, it's slow paced, not much is happening, and you still have the capacity to take it all in, and it's interesting. But then the last part, we are really rushing because so much is happening at the same time. So, my God, so many different developments.
Because there's a lot of energy released.
There is a lot of energy release, and
the activity is also getting nice.
Exactly, and sometimes. Yeah, it depends on the group, and sometimes people are just very, very curious, and they're getting so deeply into it, and they're asking a lot of questions, which I love, of course, this engagement. So sometimes I just bring them back down, and when we talk about, for example, the development of the eyes, I have a little, I guess, mindful exercise, just looking around, taking it all in, the different shapes, the different colors, what you see in the distance, 3D vision, etc. So, as I said, you can be really playful about those things, and helping people getting a bit of a different perspective on it. Yeah, up until we reach the end where the humans start to appear.
Is that a cliffhanger?
That's definitely a cliffhanger.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
No
No
spoilers.
spoilers. Doesn't sound too positive.
Hmm? That's interesting that you say that, because as I said, I'm quite interested in people and working with humans, and I always find it fascinating how people react to the story. And I mean, when you read the news or listen to the radio or to podcasts, I think you will have understood that our situation is a difficult one at the moment on this planet. And of course, this is also part of the story that I'm telling. But during the walk, you also get a feel for the power of nature. And despite so many backlashes and difficult times the world has gone through already, it finds a way, and it comes back, it bounces back. And there is a lot of solace in that realization for people. But I have to admit, at the end, because we are capable of, thinking, of realizing, we have a conscious as humans. We also have to realize what our contribution is to the situation that we are in, and just being confronted with that also can come as a shock. Although most people that join me on a walk have already realized that and know our responsibility, but still, it is quite shocking. But then the idea is not to leave people there all desperate and and crying. The idea is also to then talk about, okay, what is it that we can do, the part that we can play. And it's very individual choices, of course. Some take to the streets and block roads or hold up banners, or others do it in subtler ways, or it's about the choices they make, what they buy, or if they buy something at all. The choice of transport, the choice of food. And then you realize, oh, I do have a lot of power. I'm not the victim of circumstances here. I'm not just. It's not yet time to give up. I personally think, anyways, I would never give up. There's always hope. But that's what I try to work through with people as well, what they can do and how they can contribute, and feeling this agency, this being able to do something, also leaves them typically with, yeah, with a lot of hope, yeah, and energy as well.
Well, I mean, it's good that you clarify, right? I mean, and explain it, because imagine your walk would end in like depression. But no, it's just hope, you know. Are you still in touch with people about their actions
Um,
after it? I mean,
no, but this is actually something that I would love to research a bit.
yeah.
The impact of those walks longer term. And it's not just me who's guiding those walks. We have a small but mighty network in the Netherlands of professional facilitators, but then it's also a global network. So I'm in contact with people from Cambodia to the US, and we also meet regularly. To talk about our experiences and how we can further evolve those walks. And one of the things that we are really as a community interested in is the longer term impact, because we see the impact it has on people during the walk and right after the walk. But it would be lovely to follow up and indeed just see, have you taken certain actions? How are you now? Also mentally, emotionally, did it help to find your agency from despair to, okay, now I realize I can do something, and it's down to me to take action, and I can take action. So all these things we are really interested in. So if there is someone listening who I don't know, who is a research fellow and wants to look into that, yeah, it would be lovely to do that together.
Or yeah, or provide people with the tools, you know, from what you've already seen that can be used. That would be interesting as well. It's like, okay, realization, okay, check. Here's your toolbox. Go do. Yeah, interesting. In some ways, it also feels like this has also been like your own journey.
It is indeed a mirror journey of my own journey. You're absolutely right. And I've gone through all these emotions myself. I think it started really on this holiday trip to southern Germany, to southern Europe, when Europe was on fire in Greece, in Spain, in Portugal, in France. All these terrible, devastating fires, and yeah, it hit me. I still recall this day. And this moment when I sat on a beach, sunny beach in Spain, my favorite, or family's favorite holiday destination, and in principle a very happy place, a good place to be. But then knowing about those things that are happening around, I just felt like grief. I was grieving, and then I was angry. How come that we let this happen? And I was desperate. Oh God, this is too big. I can't do anything. We can't control this situation. It's gone out of hand completely, and like very dark, very desperate, very, I don't know, down. And it took me a while from there to get out of that dark place, a lot of sorrow and despair. To then think, okay, I'm not giving up, because it's not my personality to give up easily, but to find something that feels manageable enough and probably small enough, some contribution that I could do. That was indeed quite a journey, and I just hope to accelerate that journey for people, so that indeed they can find their way of engaging and their way of being with the situation faster than it took me.
Yeah. But your solution from that discovery is that you want to help make other people aware of it.
Yes, I think this is the place that I found for myself,
Yeah.
helping people, either those professionals who are already quite active, but then risk to maybe be too active or not pausing enough and not recharging and rebalancing enough. And just go, 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 because the issues are so massive and the problem is huge. So allowing oneself to stop, to breathe, to listen, to recharge. I think this is something that indeed I want to bring to those people. And then the regular human beings who are just probably very silently struggling, because that's the other thing that strikes me. People are not talking about that issue, not on around the coffee corner at work or with friends. It's a topic that I talk about with people because my friends know that I'm engaged in that way. So they speak up and they share their views. But other than that, I think it's just this thing. Yeah, I don't know this. You just don't talk about it. You're suffering in silence in a way. It's interesting.
And alone, not in collectivity.
Absolutely, yeah.
And how do you do that? I mean, looking at future generations, I mean, how are you enroll your kids on this journey? You take them on a walk?
I definitely take them outdoors,
Good.
and they luckily they love it. Yeah, typically we always have one holiday where we spend a lot of time outdoors, and it used to be the southern part of Germany, Bavaria, which you know very well. It's beautiful, so
Gorgeous.
it's easy to spend time outdoors. But to be very frank with you, I think talking with the young kids or my own kids, I still struggle. Also, luckily, there is a lot of support around climate, mental health for kids. And I'm so torn because on the one hand, of course, I want to be realistic and I want them to understand in which circumstances we are and how we came to to the situation that we are in, the mechanisms behind it. I want them to understand that, which I think I understood way too late. But on the other hand, they're also innocent kids. They haven't contributed to the mess we are in,
Yeah.
and I feel they also have a right to being innocent and to just enjoy their lives to the fullest. But that could also mean that they are contributing to the destruction. Think of, I have a young daughter, think of fast fashion, for example, or think of long distance trips to somewhere because they want to see the world like I did when I was young. And how do you engage in those conversations? How do you find this balance of helping them understand, but at the same time also, ensuring that they enjoy life in their way and not going, oh no 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 you shouldn't because. So it's a struggle. It's definitely a struggle.
It's also it's a different lifestyle. Yeah, lifestyle design that they probably have versus us versus you know former generations, of course. Consumerism, how it's changing, and that awareness. I've met also people not that long ago. Yeah, they haven't. Um, yeah, I went for a trip to Helsinki and talked to someone, and he said, "Yeah, it's the first time in 5 years that I'm actually flying, or taking an airplane." And I was surprised. I was like, "Why?" And then of course he explained, and it was that kind of reason, like he always tries to go somewhere by train or like something alternative. Somehow going to Helsinki was was not possible without taking a plane. But he enjoyed it. Like he really, it was something enjoyable as well because it's been first time in 5 years to take a plane. So yeah, in my book that's a bit extreme, but looking at my behavior, but maybe you compensate it differently. I don't know. Um, even once at that had this idea. Imagine we would have a scorecard that same as people have like energy labels and houses, A, B, C, and D. It's like, please go ahead. It's like, how yeah, how sustainable are you as a family, as a person, and you have a scorecard, and then you can just check boxes, and then you get your own impact report at the end of each year. Who knows?
That's always a point of discussion also with friends indeed. So first there is the argument, yeah, but what can I contribute, or
Yeah.
yeah, this plane would fly anyways if I sit in it or not. Um, maybe that sounds a bit rude, but I'm just done with these arguments. I think we should be a bit further now, because of course our individual choices matter a lot.
Absolutely.
Um,
But
and
you
we,
also never know if you do it well. You don't know if you do a good job.
I think we probably have to be less strict with ourselves. And all the lists that you have mentioned that could sit on a scorecard, for me, it starts with the awareness, and just being aware of the impact that it has, and aware as in not necessarily feeling guilty, but knowing consciously if I choose for this, then the impact is such and such. And I'm quite convinced that this will already push people into better, more sustainable choices when you just pause and think. And that doesn't mean we need to become all saints, that we are human beings. So we're all making mistakes. And what is a mistake at all? And we love life and we enjoy life to the fullest. And sometimes we are just making not so healthy or smart choices. That's part of the story. But the more conscious we are about what we are doing and the better informed we are about the impact that our choices have, I think then we would already be on a pretty good path forward.
Yeah. But I would love to know what my impact is, or to at least find a way to visualize it, because I think it also motivates. And not saying, okay, I'm doing enough, so I don't have to, but yeah, you take it even broader. You make it more playful. It's like, what else can I do, to make a positive impact?
I think you're right when you say it needs to be playful.
Yeah.
When it becomes a
Take a
list.
walk.
Take a walk, exactly. Don't take the car. Take a walk. Take your bike. I I travel to Berlin regularly, and I take the train. And you might have heard about the train service in Germany.
Yeah, amazing.
It is amazing. It is absolutely lovely. Um, but then, if you want to connect with people, take the train in Germany, because when you strand on a platform, not knowing when the next train is taking you to your destination, you definitely meet people who are in the same situation, and everyone goes like, "Why do they make it so difficult for us to choose for the climate and to choose sustainable?" So immediately you have a conversation with like-minded people, and you are in this together. So that's also bonding, and I think also this aspect of community, just finding your tribe and surrounding yourself with people who are on a similar mission, who have similar values, is very, very important also for your mental health, for your emotional health. So sometimes I feel like I find my people on a German train platform.
Yeah. I feel I find my people on a public bench. Because there's always something that we have in common in that ways, and I think that's also the side with good places, that it's not only about you or your life or your journey. I think it's a good place is also a verb, almost like, I believe in as good citizenship. That you can define a place by, yeah, you love your job, the weather is nice, you're healthy, and so on. But yeah, what is it you can do to keep it or make it a good place? So it's also something active, and not just a conclusion of things you've done. Or go for it. Yeah. So it's like I think that's also a message for everyone watching and listening. It's you might be in a good place, but you should also keep it a good place. You know, what would you do to keep The Hague a good place?
Protecting nature. And I think The Hague is already pretty advanced in that. It has a quite active community that is very involved with the green. And I had the pleasure of joining a group of those boswachters who take care of nature in The Hague, and I was amazed.
Foresters.
The foresters,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not sure if that job even exists in Germany. I'm not sure, but I definitely came home telling my husband I want to become a forester. God, that was such a great
I
experience.
interviewed one a few months ago.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And if we only had their mindset, taking care of nature more, and for example, not littering, or this is always a bit of a debate, but also with the dogs that are roaming free and not on a leash. I only realized walking with the boswachters how dangerous that is for nature and for the animals living in the dunes, for example. I didn't realize dogs are quite dangerous there, and respecting nature. Because we are part of nature, so when we respect ourselves, we should also respect nature. Um, and I think that there also from a community point of view, there are so many good initiatives. Only recently we were invited to vote for the design of a playground, of a kids' playground, and
Amazing.
something that I've never experienced in Germany. But here there is involvement because they want to ensure that whatever is chosen and then put there as a playground is also useful for the community. So are there smaller kids, older kids? What do they want? So participation, as you said, getting involved, and there are so many opportunities in The Hague and of course other cities in the Netherlands and abroad to get involved. And when you feel something is missing, just starting an initiative to contribute in a way, because I totally agree that the community and the good place only stays a good place when everyone is engaged there. And if we also think continue to reflect what does it mean a good place, and maybe the definition of a good place 10 years ago was slightly different to what a good place is today and what a good place is in 10 years. So also I think that there is evolution, there is development, and we need to stay sharp and making sure that the good places remain good places also for the future.
That also means, Tina, I need to keep on doing this podcast for the next 10 years.
Absolutely.
Talk to you in 10 years. Yeah. I mean, it's a bit of a no-brainer question, but it's part of the show, of course, is then maybe in a few sentences, like what is a good place to you? I don't need to ask if you're in a good place, but I would love to know what is a good place to you.
Luckily, it is not singular, it's definitely plural. So there are a lot of good places there. A couple of key ingredients. It starts with the people. And not necessarily people that need to be in that exact same place, but just having a community that I can rely on and fall back onto makes a good place a good place. And we briefly spoke about being lonely. I think I absolutely enjoy being in the dunes by myself, but I would never feel lonely. I just love to be alone, but I know there is a whole community. There are friends out there. There is family out there. And that just this knowledge and this reassurance makes this place a good place, because I know they're just very close by.
Yeah.
And the obvious one, it is nature, healthy nature, vibrant nature, I love the sea. Not always. Sometimes I'm a bit picky, and when I feel I need this vastness of the horizon, then I go to the sea. But sometimes it feels also a bit overwhelming, so then I prefer a forest. And just being able to choose, that's such a luxury. I mean, I can choose to go to the dunes, to the forest, to the sea. So yeah, so many good places where I can be happy, where I can be myself, where I can ground myself, where, yeah, I can use all my senses. I now feel the breeze of the wind on my skin, the sun on my skin as well, the colors, the bird sound. I have a question on my walks when we talk about the emergence of life on the planet. I love to ask the participants what makes you feel alive. And what is interesting is that people also say, yeah, when I'm very sad. So a good place is not always happy and cheerful and joy and light and easy. I think a good place is also a place where you can just experience your sadness, your sorrow, all these emotions as well, and where they have a place and where they can just be, or where you can be with everything, and where you just can be alive. I guess this was a long answer to your question. So my yeah, my best places are those where I can be myself and live to the fullest.
I never cut interviews, so it's a beautiful answer. And also to add to that, what I just read from what you're saying is that realization, that consciousness of things around you and so on. I think that also adds to being in a good place, the knowing part. Yeah, thank you, Tina, for this beautiful answer and this beautiful conversation. Um, the upcoming deep time walk is when?
So we have a series of public deep time walks in September. The second weekend of September is when we start. People can find the exact dates and times and everything on Hipsy, for example, or Eventbrite.
I'll add the link below. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I keep adding dates and times. It's also a bit dependent on, of course, the weather forecast. Although it's an outdoor event, I also try to make sure that we have some sun to enjoy as well. So in September, the next series starts, and we are in the background preparing for a special edition of a Deep Time Walk during the Dutch Design Week in Eindhoven in October. So very excited to be there as well.
Is there a lot of nature around the Dutch Design Week?
There is, and they even have a whole topic around nature. So we're doing this in collaboration with the BioArt laboratories. There's a lot of nature in cities actually, and also in Eindhoven. Yeah.
Very good, very good. I'll be joining one here in the Hague in September. You've converted me to. But I'm super interested in this topic, and from all the sitting on public benches, and you also need to get into motion and walk a bit more. I'm gonna thank you again for your time, for your story, for picking the bench on this beautiful location. I feel energized from this session in nature. So we should do host more in nature. For everyone watching, take also the time to follow us on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, and Instagram. You can follow us. You can become a member on our community. We're building a community of global citizens alike to share things about what a good place is, or want to work on their good place through our program. So many spin-offs from this podcast and that are relevant to global citizens, and to have them find a good place, but also to keep their place a good place. And I think that's very important conclusion from this episode. Have a nice day, everyone. Enjoy the beautiful weather, and talk to you to the next one. Okay, all the best. Bye bye.